These stories are taken from Reddit's Paranormal subreddit, and all these stories are allegedly true. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And let me know in the comments down below if you like these kinds of videos. A few years back, I rented this house near my university. The price was great. The house was okay, not too much, comfy enough so my brother and I can live there. After we moved, strange things started happening, but only to me. I started seeing shadows underneath the door, like the gap between the floor and some doors have. Started seeing shadows in the corner of my eye, and small stuff in different places where I used to put them. Forward a few weeks, and I came home and saw a glass of water on top of the sofa. Now the problem is, the time that I've moved in, I was living alone in my house, and my brother didn't move in until then. I called my father after this and explained everything, how I felt, and started seeing things around. Nevertheless, he didn't believe me or brush it off, telling me that it's just all in my mind. He told me that I played a lot of scary games and watched a lot of horror movies. Anyways, he convinced me that it was all in my mind. After the following months, my parents came to visit me and started talking to the neighbors and making friends. My girlfriend at the time also came to visit. Now here's the main issue I had. My girlfriend and I were cooking one night and she randomly asked, "Hey, have you seen those shadows moving past the kitchen door?" I felt glad that I wasn't going insane, but horrible to think that it was actually real. After she asked me that, my mother was actually talking with my neighbor. After she came in the house, I explained to her what was happening, and now I have a witness that it wasn't my mind. My mom's response? Yeah, the neighbor just told me weird shit tonight. Here's what happened. My parents actually believed me from the start and started asking questions with the neighbors about the house. It turns out that the last person who rented out the house was a psychiatrist, who would never leave the house closed for months. And once every 3 to 4 months, a group of people would come in, stay the night, and leave. One night, my neighbor was smoking on her balcony that has a view to my backyard where I live, and saw 5 or 6 people in black robes and a circle made of red candles just sitting there, staring at the candles. Now, I believe the red candle thing because my backyard is full of red wax. We cleaned them ever since we moved in. Anyways, she also believed in the paranormal, so she said she had a spiritual person called Santero to check out the house because she was worried that we were in danger. He told us that whatever the black robe persons were, they left a portal open and spirits would move around. He told us not to worry because it would disappear after a few months. The strangest part is after a few months, everything seemed to go back to normal. This happened about 4 years ago when I was on my spring break. My uncle, who got his TV turned off, asked us if he could house sit for us while we were away. We accepted his offer and didn't mind him watching TV, just as long as he kept the house clean. Halfway through our stay, my parents got a call from my uncle. He told my parents that last night, he was watching TV and happened to leave the porch window curtain open. That window is about 10 feet to the left of our TV at the time. My uncle said that he turned to look at the window and he saw a man standing there. Our porch is pretty old and wooden. You could easily hear when someone is walking up the steps. Our dog, an outdoor dog, didn't even make a sound either. My uncle was spooked until he recognized the man standing out there. I don't know personally who he was, but most of my family knew. Before my uncle could do anything, the man just simply walked away. When my family came back home a few days later, my mom told me the story, but what really spooked me was that the man died just 3 days after my uncle saw him on our porch. Now, I'm a Navajo. In my culture, we have these evil people called skinwalkers. They say when you catch a skinwalker during the act and expose their identity, they will die in 3 days. I still don't know whether that man was one of these skinwalkers. Why was he at our house, and him passing so suddenly is still so mysterious to this day. So this is, to this very day, my strangest paranormal experience. Although I believe it can be rationally explained because I was 3 years old at that time. On the other hand, I remember the event very clearly to this day and feels very real every time I think about it. As a kid, I used to wake up in the middle of the night, take my blanket, and go to my parents' bed. This night was no different. I woke up, got out of my bed, and left the blanket half hanging from the bed so I could just take it with me easily. I opened the door out of my bedroom, and then I fell on the ground. The weird thing was, I felt that something was holding my ankles down. So I flipped on my back to see what was holding me down, and that's when I saw it. The thing was completely dark, but thanks to the streetlight, I could see its shape. It resembled a human, but I knew immediately that it was not a human figure. I could see its dark long arms, which were unbelievably long, stretching the whole room. The creature was really extraordinarily tall, something around 8 feet. The creature also had a head, pitch black as the rest of the body. However, I could see very clearly 2 glowing red dots, supposedly eyes. I felt relatively calm until I looked right in the eyes. That's when the creature started pulling me in. I grabbed the door frame, holding back against its pull. It was difficult, but thankfully the creature's pulling wasn't too strong. It stopped holding me down, so I managed to get on my feet and close the door. The next morning I woke up in my parents' bedroom. I went to my room. The creature wasn't there, but the blanket was still in the same place as I left it. Since then, I was expecting it to return at some point, but it never appeared again. Now, I'm not saying that this was real. It could very well be just my child imagination. But like I said, every time I think about it, it feels very, very real. So a little background. About 3 weeks ago, my housemate, One, and her boyfriend got into a really big fight. I lived in this house in December and didn't experience anything. It wasn't until after the fight that things just started happening. The experiences included, a week after the fight, I was walking out of the bathroom on the downstairs floor, and I heard someone upstairs say, "Hello? Good morning." I thought it was housemate One, so I said good morning back and went on to the couch. 20 minutes later, I got a Snapchat from housemate One and she was at work the whole time. Since that experience, I felt very uneasy being there by myself. I told housemate One about the experience, And a few days later, she told me she found a bloody tissue in the upstairs bathroom. She's the only one who uses that bathroom, by the way. This morning, the housemate 1 said she woke up at 2 a.m. to the sounds of me and housemate 2 talking. She went downstairs and didn't see us, so she came to our respective bedrooms, and we were asleep. This morning, housemate 2 woke up at 9:30 to the sounds of housemate 1 and her boyfriend arguing. She went up to their room to tell them to quiet down, but nobody was home because we were all at work. Now, given all this, what should we do? Nobody has used a spirit board or anything like that. We are all kind of nervous, to be honest. Where can I learn some more information on what's happening? How can I stop this from occurring again? Anything would help at this point.